Good morning, everyone. So, for our today's topic, we will tackle about the right of privacy. So, before we start, um, how can you define in your own words the right of privacy? And also, how can you protect your privacy online? So, these are the topics that we will tackle about this lesson. So, let's start. So, let us define first what is privacy. So, privacy from Latin word it is privatus, separated from the rest, deprived of something, especially in office, participation in the government, from privo to deprive. So, it is the ability of an individual or group to seclude themselves or information about themselves and thereby reveal themselves selectively. The boundaries and content of what is considered private differ among cultures and individuals, but share basic common themes. So, from privo, it is mean to deprive, and from the Latin word privacy means privatos or separated from the others. So we have privacy have the boundaries and content of what is considered to be differ from among cultures and individuals, but share basic common themes. So we have different kinds of privacy, either in online, in our workplace, also in our own life. So let us discuss it later. So next. So privacy is essential to autonomy and the protection of human dignity, serving as the foundation upon which many other human rights are built. Privacy enables us to create boundaries and protect ourselves from unwarranted interference in our lives, allowing us to negotiate we are and how we want to interact with the world around us. Privacy protects us from arbitrary and unjustified use of power by states, companies, and other actors. It lets us regulate what can be known about us and done to us, while protecting us from others who may wish to exert control. So, privacy helps us to establish boundaries to limit who has access to our bodies, places, or our things or informations, and as well as to our communications. And these are the rules that can protect our privacy that will give us ability to assert our rights in the face of significant power imbalances. So we have here the concept of privacy. Right of privacy can be defined as the right of a person to enjoy his own presence by himself and decide his boundaries. Individual has a right to limit sharing his personal information with other individuals or entities or the media. Personal information is a form of personal property to an individual. So, privacy is important to us because it will give us the power to choose our thoughts and feelings and who we share them with. So, also privacy can protect us can protect our information that we do not want to share publicly. So, such as our health or personal finances or love life. So, privacy helps protect our physical safety if our real-time location data is private. So, privacy will help our privacy will help us to become safe to so that people people will not interfere our lives. Is privacy a human right? So, privacy is a fundamental human right. The right of privacy is articulated in all the major international and regional human rights instruments. Over 130 countries have constitutional statements regarding the protection of privacy. So, European Convention on Human Rights, Article 8, the right of respect for family and private life. So, these are the important element is the right to protection of personal data. So, despite of the international human rights law, it is all common that privacy is violated by states and companies. Technological developments have increased our capabilities to protect privacy, but technical capabilities now exist for surveillance and interference with our privacy too, without precedent. So, for example, the advancement in processing personal data, including the ever increasing power of intercept access, collect, store, and analyze data, centralized DNA and biometric databases, and more sophisticated algorithms able to de anonymize data, are outpacing existing out of date legal protection. So, meanwhile, the emergence of the fast expanding global surveillance industry is enabling government agencies to interfere with the right of privacy, including by conducting mass surveillance. So, even with the international human rights law, it is all common that our privacy is being violated even in online or even in our workplace. So that's why that we need to protect our privacy wherever we are, because it will give ourselves space from judgment, and also it allows us to think freely without discrimination, and it is an important element that will give us control over who knows what about us. So um, it is in our hands that we can give others control to whoever knows about us. So that's why privacy is very important in human beings, and because it will make decision about it every single day. So next, so why does the right of privacy matter now? So it is because of the advancement of processing personal data. Technological developments are coupled with a global discourse on security and counterterrorism, and also because state surveillance and misuse of personal data take many forms. So just like our example, um, the advancement in processing personal data, it includes the centralized DNA and biometric databases. So even your biometric databases or DNA can also be copied by others if you give or even without your permission, because they can get this without your um without your consent. So, and also, technological development are coupled with a global discourse on security and counterterrorism, because it treats the privacy of individuals as an impediment of the fight against terrorism. So, wrongly pitching privacy against security. So, this course has led to the adoption of laws that grant intelligence services extended powers with little oversight. And the next one is the state surveillance and misuse of personal data take many forms. So, as we all know that um, we have some personal data online or either um, everywhere, that this will lead us to danger. So, for example, the mass interception of communication, the indiscriminate data retention policies, the localis- the local the local the locational surveillance, so via CCTV, GPS, and similar technology. So mandatory registration of SIM cards, compulsory IDs, and biometric system. So with the help of this, it can it can give us safety, and also, and this will give us peace of mind, or This will give us peace of mind that our information is safety, and we can only access this one with the original. And also this will give, or this will help us to maintain and help, and so this is important to us because it will it will give us peace of mind, and also at ease, because we are sure that our information is safe, and our privacy is secure. Privacy is sometimes related to anonymity, the wish to remain unnoticed or unidentified in the public realm. So, when something is private to a person, it usually means there is something within them that is considered inherently special or personally sensitive. The degree to which private information is exposed, therefore, depends on how the public will receive this information, which differs between places and over time. Privacy is broader than security and includes the concept of appropriate use and the protection of information. So, as we can notice, there are some people who have online accounts but use a fake account and remain their information private. So for that, it's their decision that to remain unnoticed or unidentified to the public realm. Privacy is an interest of the human personality. It protects the inviolate personality, the individual's independence, dignity, and integrity. It is the right to be let alone, the most comprehensive of the rights and the right most valued by civilized men. Privacy underpins humans' dignity and other key values such as freedom of association and freedom of speech. In other words, it is the state of being free from intrusion or disturbance in one's private life or affair. So the media has made it possible to bring the private life of an individual into public domain, exposing him to the risk of an invasion of his space and privacy. With the process of globalization and the development of the internet, the convergence of information beyond technological barriers has become a common affair. So, as we all notice, that media is one of the tools that we used, and um, it will bring the private life of an individual to a public that will expose him to a risk of invasion or copying his or her personal information that will bring him or her to a danger. So, for example, for an artist, so as we all know, it is common now in the media, also especially in Facebook, that some uses their fake identity to be, or to disguise to that certain person. So that's why media is one of the um, greatest tool that will put someone into a danger because of invading his or her privacy. We have here some photo example that invading someone's privacy. So first we have here a man shouting, "Can I have some privacy?" So it is common to now, because if some information or data become trending online, and then even without the statement of a certain person that involved in that issue, people will have their judgment to that person even without um, knowing the real facts about that issue. And the next one is the man peeping to someone's door. So, and then the man in the inside caught him to caught him in the act that he is peeping to them, and then he said, "Do you mind invading our privacy?" So this man with a blue jacket and the striped pants with a hat of stripe is invading someone's privacy. And then this is some of the unlawful acts that we need to avoid. So the other one is a girl with different cameras behind him, or one of the greatest example of this one is an artist or a social media influencer or an actor or actress. So if someone or an actress or actor has an issue, the cameras will focus on that certain person, and they will give their judgment even without the formal statement from that person. And next one is a other this can be a great example also from a government and a politician. So you can define this one because it said that, "Look, I've come through your phone records. I've monitored all your email, social media, and web activity. I've been seen you naked in an airport scanner. You act like you can trust me with your DNA." So this man who has a Superman outfit wanted to have the DNA of the Thin Man. So he said that he invaded the privacy, or he scanned over the phone of the Thin Man, which he saw the social media or the naked man in an airport scanner, and then he said that why can't he trust his DNA to that man? Okay, you get it? So next thing, next slide. So we have here there are sonic area concerning the protecting and preserving of privacy rights of individual. So in the following area, right to privacy is protecting in the following ways. So we have here the privacy law, the privacy on the internet, and the data protection law. So first, we have privacy law. Privacy law or privacy protection rules regulating law enforcement and national security use of personal information can be usefully understood in two distinct categories. So first, substantive rules that limit access to and usage of private information, and second, procedural rules that provide safeguards to encourage compliance and ensure accountability for compliance failures. Neither the Constitution nor any statute can anticipate in advance every particular privacy issue raised by future technologies. So the evolving balance between the government's need to intrude the private lives of individuals in the service of its public safety mission and the requirement to maintain individual liberty has been maintained over time by providing a degree of transparency in the use of technologies along with accountability to rules assured by judicial and legislative oversight. So as new technologies and investigative techniques has come into use, courts and legislators have the opportunity to review these advances and make assessment of their privacy impact guided by constitutional and public policy foundation. When the new privacy risks arise or when the government powers are judged to have been extended beyond the boundaries established through the democratic process, corrective action can be taken. So No one shall be subjected for arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home, or correspondence, or through attacks upon his honor and reputation. So everyone has the right to the protection of the law against some interference or attack. So next one. Privacy on the internet. So we have here the right to know, the right to choose, and adequate security, the right to control the information. So first, we have the right to know. There are many means to protect one's privacy on the internet. So, for example, emails can be encrypted, and anonymizing process or anonymizing networks like I2P and Tor can be used to prevent the internet service provider from knowing which site one visits and with whom one communicates. So, internet privacy includes the main elements of personal data, private information, and individual field. So, we have here the right to know. So users have the right to know what information relevant to themselves is collected by the website, or what purpose the information will be used, as well as who it will be shared. So an individual is has the right to know um, what information that is relevant for themselves, and also what is the purpose of that information that will be used, and who will saw it, or who will be shared with that information. So next we have the right to choose. So the consumers have a right to choose the use of their personal data. So the consumers or the individual has the decision or the right to choose the use of their personal data, because that's their personal data or personal information, and that will have a, or that is against the law, to get the personal data without the consent or the permission of that certain person. So next we have the adequate security. So the network company should guarantee the security of information and prevent unauthorized illegal access. So the users have the right to request the website to take the necessary and reasonable measures to protect their personal information. So sometimes this happens to the certain scenario that some of our information leak to the other website, or because the website become and have some troubled or some issues, and that's what the uh, so the users have the right to request to that website to take unnecessary and reasonable measures to protect their personal information, because that's their personal information, and it will cause them to a danger, or this will become one of the reason to put their life to a danger. So the last one is the internet privacy should also include the refuser's right to control the information. So the user has the right to decide whether to allow others to collect or use this information. And the right is request judicial relief. The user has the right to bring a civil suit against an institution or individual engaged in infringement of his privacy. So the user, so when you get the personal information of a certain person, this will need the permission of that user, and if that user didn't know that you get his information, this will give or the user has the right to request a judicial relief or file against you a case to an individual that infringement on his privacy. So these are the contents of the internet privacy that we need to follow in order to have privacy on the internet. Last one is the Data Protection. The Data Protection Act 1998 can be a very powerful tool to help protect your right to privacy by creating a set of rules for those who handle your personal data and giving you a number of rights over that personal data and the way it is handled. So this section will provide an overview of those rules and of what your rights are under the DPA and how you can enforce them. So the DPA also provides you with the right to access personal data which is held about you, but this is covered in the right to know section. So the processing of your personal data as well as engaging your rights under the DPA often also engage your right to respect for your private and family life, which is protected by Article 8. So this is covered in the Article 8 section. Disclosure of your personal data to third parties may also be a breach of confidence, and this is covered in the breach of confidence section. This section covers overview of data protection principles, definition of personal data, legitimate processing, individual rights, remedies, exemptions, and data protection. So these are the protecting or the area that the right of privacy is protecting you from someone that wanted to get your personal information.